Hey everybody, welcome back to JT Channel, and yes, after many months of talking about my two shows that I'm bringing to the channel, I'm finally ready to reveal a bunch of stuff about them. I'm going to talk about how they're going to work, what their titles are going to be, what the thumbnails are going to look like. Just kind of, it's time to go over them because I finally finished WrestleMania 6. I don't want to get into it here. It's not good. I'm going to put it that way. It's not good, but it's not the worst WrestleMania ever. We'll get to the worst WrestleMania ever someday. Point is, I finally finished WrestleMania 6. I finally have an idea of what horror movie I might want to watch for my first episode of that. So it's time to get you guys prepared for it, basically. So that's how this is going to work. In this little opening here, I'm just going to kind of let you guys in on, what's happening. And then I'm going to jump into the wrestling show and then the horror show. I'll tell you everything you need to know, like I said, when it's going to air, how I'm going to record it, what the title is, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll timestamp everything so you can go back and learn whatever you want to learn. So let's go ahead and jump into it because this has been a long time coming. I think I first started teasing these ideas late last year, like October, November of 2025. Originally, the wrestling show was going to be airing this past Thursday. I had a really big idea. I was like, I'll show the first episode right after the Rumble. People are going to be talking so much about wrestling that it'll be the perfect time to shove that in there. That didn't happen. My life went crazy. I wasn't able to get through it. But now that I have finished WrestleMania 6, I don't know why I said 3. I don't know where that came from. But now that I've finished WrestleMania 6, it's time to get ready to record the first episode. Now, I think I explained this in the past video that how I'm going to record these is always going to be on the weekends. But the retro wrestling show is going to air on Thursdays. Throwback Thursday, No, it's not what it's called. But I thought early on that's when I wanted to post it, was on Thursdays. Originally, Throwback Thursday, a pro wrestling throwback show kind of title was in the works. So that's another reason it was on Thursdays. But it will be recorded on weekends. As far as what shows I'm going to do, I'm going to come up with a big list of shows that I want to do. And then I'm going to ask you guys for suggestions every week. If you put a suggestion in my comments and I want to do it, or if I have no plans, or if I just was like, oh, why the hell not? I'll do it. I'll do everybody's suggestions, always. I'll do your suggestions, I promise, but doesn't mean I'll do it the following week. I might have 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of shows ready to go that I want to do, and I don't want to break up my timeline, I guess, my schedule. So you may have to wait a few weeks, but that doesn't mean I won't do it. As far as I said 5 or 6 weeks, I would like it to be weekly, but that doesn't mean it will be. For one, there are regular pay-per-views. Weekends and weeks of regular pay-per-views, I probably won't do an episode of the Retro Show because that weekend I'll be too busy recording stuff for the active event, whereas the Retro event can kind of take a step back. I can watch that whenever I want. You know what I mean? A good example is next weekend, is AEW Grand Slam, and I want to see how this first episode does before I jump into doing week. So, while it will, I don't exactly know when it's going to air as far as my show goes. I want it to be this coming Thursday, which is like the 12th, I think, or the 11th. I think it's the 12th because Valentine's Day is on Saturday. But the point is, I may not have time to record another episode of it because I'll be busy doing stuff for Grand Slam, which I do kind of want to do picks and predictions and reviews for. Grand Slam looks really good. When WWE has a big event, whatever, if there's a pay-per-view that I plan on watching, then that week won't have the Retro Show. So that's that schedule. If I don't even know what I'm trying to say with the whole weekly thing. Like, I want it to be weekly. I should be able to do it weekly, but there could be complications. I got to have time to watch the entire show and take notes on the entire show. Taking notes is interesting. I was going to do physical notes, but it's much faster to type. So I have a notepad on my phone that I type notes out, and what I'm going to do, since I record on my phone, is I'm just going to print them out and have physical, like, printer paper with my notes on them. So that'll be fun. As there are a few things I'm not going to do that I want to talk about, because I said I'll do some suggestions. And there's lots of shows that I can't wait to do, but there are a few things that I think I need to talk about, and then I'll tell you guys about the name of the show and how the thumbnails will work. First things first, first thing we need to talk about is Chris Benoit. I'll admit that since 2007, I have had a really hard time watching Chris Benoit matches on my own time. Like, I won't go out of my way to watch any Chris Benoit matches. If you know about Chris Benoit, then you know why. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Chris Benoit and you'll know everything you need to know. However, with that said, I'm not going to ignore them when it comes to this show. If there's a Chris Benoit match on the running sheet, on the match list, on the whatever, then I will watch it and I will review it unbiased. Like, I understand he was one of the best wrestlers of all time and what he did was horrendous, but I can't just ignore the matches. You know, you get it. I'm sure you understand. I'll never get over what he did for as long as I live. And I'm one of the people, I'll tell you right now, that does not think he deserves to go in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he deserves anything. I don't think he deserves recognition ever again. But if there's a Benoit matchup, like someday I'm sure I'll cover like WrestleMania 20, for example, where he became the World Heavyweight Champion. I'll just cover the match. I'm making my feelings known in this video so you know what to feel, or you know what to expect later on. Secondly, I absolutely refuse to do the pay-per-view where Owen Hart died. I can't remember what pay-per-view that was. If you don't know what I'm talking about, again, you could just Google it. But Owen Hart was doing this Blue Blazer gimmick, and on pay-per-view, on an actual pay-per-view, he was supposed to come down from the rafters on a rope. The rope snapped. He fell to his death live on pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view continued. No. I could be paid $1 billion and I'd take the money and run. If you're some smartass that's watching this video and you think, oh, I'm going to request the show that Owen Hart died on, never going to happen. I will cover is it the King of the Ring? No. What the hell? I can't think of the name of the show. The Undertaker Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell show, Bad Blood 97, I think it is. I'll cover that show. That is the show, obviously, with the Undertaker Shawn Michaels first ever Hell in a Cell, but it's also the same day that Brian Pillman died, and then they decided to put on a pay-per-view. It's a little different there, only because Brian Pillman passed away earlier in the day, and WWE made the absolutely horrendous decision to go ahead and run a pay-per-view. But it's fine. That's a little different, I suppose. It's not someone dying live on pay-per-view. And thirdly, don't ever forget that this is still my channel and still my show. There is a match on WrestleMania 6 that I absolutely refuse to say more than I end up saying about it. I'm not going to bring it up here. If you've watched WrestleMania 6, you know. If you don't know, wait for my review. Just always remember that. If you don't agree with my opinions, you don't agree with what I'm saying, that's absolutely fine, but you're never going to change my opinion. So I just want to get a couple of things out of my system before I start doing these, just because I know it's going to come up in the future. Now on to the name and how this is all going to work. So I actually tried a couple different ideas with this, but I ended up landing on Retro Wrestling Rewind, RWR. I'm not going to do like a little 3-letter logo. I thought about it though. You know, three-letter wrestling companies are popular these days. But that's what it's called, Retro Wrestling Rewind. I know it's not clever or original. And I made the logos for both these shows on Canva. So they're not pretty, they're not fancy. They're just me having a little bit of fun on an app that you can make logos on. And the thumbnails for this show are going to have the logo on the left and then a screenshot on the right with a little bit of a blurred background. Again, it's just me editing using my phone. I don't care. This is the point. The point is I'm starting here, which is technically at the bottom, like down here. And then hopefully someday I can be way up here with proper editing and good stuff. Same thing with the intro. I'm just going to have like a video that I record with a bunch of clips just kind of sewn together on my phone. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm probably just going to have a bunch of popular wrestlers saying popular things or big moments just kind of smash into a quick cut, super cut that's like 15 to 20 seconds long. That'll go into the intro. And then I'll just review the show and, like I said, star ratings and tier lists. It'll be fun. It will be fun. Retro Wrestling Rewind is going to be a lot of fun because I realized while watching WrestleMania 6 that nostalgia is a hell of a drug. You remember certain things. There's things from WrestleMania 6 that I didn't even realize I remembered moment for moment. And that'll probably continue to happen. As far as the outros for this show goes, I do want you guys to know what to expect every week. I'm considering an idea where I basically record clips from the next show, moments from the next show, with like no sound, and then I do a voiceover like I'm Vince McMahon from the late 80s, early 90s, where I'm just screaming with a hoarse voice telling you what to expect next week. That's just an idea I'm tossing around. I want to have fun with this. I don't want me to just come on here, talk about a wrestling show, and leave. We're going to have an intro. We're going to have ratings and rankings. We're going to have fun. And I want to have an outro that gets you pumped for the next episode. So Retro Wrestling Rewind should start very soon. If not the 12th, then maybe the following week. I've already got all my notes together. I just have to have time to do the review. And the setup will be the same as most setups that I do for wrestling reviews, where it's just going to have, I'll be in front of my TV with something in the background. But the thumbnail will be what I said it will be. So that is the wrestling show. Hope you guys are pumped for that as I am. Now we are going to move on to the horror review show. This one is the one that is still completely coming together. It's a lot, while the wrestling one is like 99, maybe 98% there, the horror one's more like 92, 93. We're getting there. For this one, it will be a little more of a laid-back idea, where I'm going to watch a horror movie and just review it. I'll go into depth to a certain degree. I'm not going to do as much research as other people do. I implore you that if you want proper research done on your horror movies, you go watch Dead Meat. No, they do not sponsor me. They don't even know I exist. But they're one of my favorite channels on YouTube. And if you want to watch somebody truly go into a horror movie and all the details, the behind the scenes, the stories, anything you didn't know before, any surprise stuff, anything like that, I'd implore you to go check out Dead Meat. But for here, we're just going to kind of talk about the movie, review it to the best of our ability, best of my ability, tell you what I like, what I didn't like. I am considering bringing the tier list to this show as well, because I want both these shows to stay separate enough, but I still want them to be unique to everything else I do on the channel, where it's like, again, I don't just want to sit here and talk about a horror movie. I'll probably go a little in depth, tell you guys some fun stories about the movie that you may not know, fun stories about me about the movies, stuff like that. Again, it's not that I don't want to do the research and stuff, it's just I have to have time to do all that. And right now, this is just going to be a basic review. The intro I'm working on already. I'll give you a little teaser. I plan on the opening of the intro being Kelly Rowland's character from Freddy vs. Jason. That's all I'm going to tell you. I know exactly what clip I'm going to use to start the intro, and it's probably going to be that. And then it's going to be like music overlaid of a bunch of my favorite horror movie clips, moments, characters. And then it's going to end with one of my favorite horror movie clips and quotes and moments of all time. And then we're going to jump into the movie. And as far as the outro goes, I don't want to take what, I hate to bring them up again. I'm really not looking for clout or anything. But I don't want to take exactly what Dead Meat does, where they do on the next kill count and they do a voiceover of the next movie. But there will be something similar to that. It's like next time on, I'll give you the title in a second, and I'll maybe I'll even show part of the actual trailer for whatever movie I'm doing next. Yes, I know I'll probably get copyright stuff, claims, not strikes, for both of these shows, but I'm not a big channel. I'm not worried about it. It doesn't actually damage my channel any. But we're still kind of working on the outro. So just, again, I'd say I'm a little over 90% done, but I am close enough to where I'm comfortable telling you guys about it. Right now, I'm taking no drink of my Gatorade. As I said that I've narrowed it down to like 2 horror movies. I might as well tell you what they are. Well, originally I had narrowed it down to the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, which I know has I think a bit of a cult following. I think the wider horror world absolutely hates it, but it has a cult following, and I told you guys with the wrestling one, I'm going to ask for suggestions on social media, on YouTube, and in real life. That's where TCM 2003 comes from. My wife, who is just off camera here, actually really likes that movie, and I think her mother owns it on DVD or something. So, and that's fine. Like whatever you like before people start coming after her. One of my favorite horror movies of all time is Cabin in the Woods. Come at me, all right? Come at me. But of course, starting my horror review show with a remake it's an interesting balance. Are people going to watch it because they're curious of why I started there, or are they going to not watch it because I started with the remake? That's why I'm also tossing up between that and the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. Plus, A24 just announced that they bought the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That wasn't on purpose. I promise I didn't plan this around that. My wife gave me the idea of 2003 Texas Chainsaw way before. This is like late last year when I was still coming up with all these ideas. The name of the show is Saturday of the Dead. Because it will air on Saturdays. That, again, I didn't say it was clever, but I like it. Saturday of the Dead. It will air every Saturday. The plan as far as recording that is to literally just do it all on Saturday. I'm not saying... That's fine. She can roar. I'm not saying it's going to work out, but my plan is to watch the horror movie and then jump straight into review, because that's what I do when I review movies on the channel. Is right after I'm done watching the movie, I try to jump straight into review. The only time that didn't happen was with Final Destination Bloodlines, because when I watched that, it was late at night and my voice was really hoarse and I was tired as hell. So I waited till the next morning to review it. But still, it was close enough to the review where everything was still in my brain. Reviewing a movie immediately seems to be easier than reviewing wrestling immediately. So, as far as if there's any horror movies I won't do, Cannibal Holocaust I won't do, and I have to look into the movies, because again, I'm going to be looking for suggestions. There will be... my wife's saying Hostel. I'm not saying I won't do Hostel. I just don't like Hostel. There are horror movies I don't like that if you guys suggest, or if I... Same thing with the wrestling one. I'm going to make a list. I'm not just going to do stuff I enjoy. I did WrestleMania 6, and I promise you it is not as good as I remember. So if I have to do a horror movie I don't like the Hostel movies, or Axe Giant, The Wrath of Paul Bunyan, please don't make me do that. I will do them, but you just have to be prepared for me to be completely, brutally honest with you. So that is again, Saturday of the Dead. Oh, as far as the thumbnail goes, so you guys know what to expect, I'm just going to take a thumbnail from the movie and put the logo on the thumbnail from the movie somewhere. I think it works out a lot better. You'll see how different the two logos look. Retro Wrestling Review, or Rewind, all 3 words have different fonts, and the background's this triple color gradient, whereas Saturday of the Dead is like a spooky font for all 4 words, and it's just a black background. So, again, they're going to be separate shows. I'm looking forward to both of them. Wrestling and horror are probably my 2 top things I enjoy that aren't, third would be metal music, and I'm not doing a music thing again. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I think that's it. I think I covered everything I need to cover for both things. Now, here's what I'm going to have you do with this video. If you've made it to the end of the video, cool. Thank you. If you would like, you can leave suggestions for either a wrestling event you'd like to see me do one day, or a horror movie you'd like to see me do one day. Remember what I said I wouldn't do with wrestling. Do not suggest the show where Owen Hart died. I will likely just ignore you. And I will do Chris Benoit matches, just remember how I feel about him. And then for horror movies, the only horror movie I can think of off the top of my head that I won't do, there's 2. I lied. There is 2. There's Cannibal Holocaust and a Serbian film. I will not watch either of those. I would rather watch all 3 Terrifier movies in a row. I love Terrifier, so just look forward to that someday, I'm sure. Again, so yes, leave suggestions for either show, Retro Wrestling Rewind or Saturday of the Dead. Please I don't have these trademarks, so please don't be a dick and take those ideas and run with them, because then I'm going to look like a dick. Hopefully both shows will air this coming week. That is the plan. Again, you know how the plan goes. If you know, you know. If you don't know, go ask Captain Cold. But if they don't air this week, they will air the following week. So that'd be like February 17th and 19th. Or it's going to be this week, which the only other thing I know you guys are thinking is, wait, are you going to air your first horror show on Valentine's Day? Shouldn't you do My Bloody Valentine? Yes, I probably should, but whatever. Point is, it's either going to be the 12th and 14th or the 17th and 19th. So, or no, that's wrong. The 19th and 21st. God, I cannot do math. I'm tired. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave those comments. Yada, yada, yada. W Energy. I'm still doing that promo. I just haven't. I want to work on promo skits. I think that'd be fun to do little, not promo skits. What are they called? Sponsor skits. And we'll get to those. But until then and until next time, this is JT Channel. I am JT. And I will see you in the next one.